Hi, this is going to be the first video of my YouTube channel. I'm Bookie Geek Catherine. So this is going to be the first video of my channel. Book reviews. First book will be The Girl from the Well by Chupeco. It is based off of an old Japanese story called The Story of Okiku. There are several different versions of this story, but the one used in this book is that Okiku was a maid in this castle, and her master, I didn't write down the name, but it was like Saoyami, something like that. But the family had these like 10 extremely precious plates that were important to the family, like family heirlooms or something like that. And she was framed for breaking one, but she really didn't. And she was in love with her master, and he was in love with her. But she had to face the consequences. I can't remember if they hadn't entirely killed her, or they killed her by throwing her down the well, and she landed on her head and broke her neck. So she died upside down, basically, and that is an important part of the story because she always likes hanging off ceilings and stuff like that. But that's getting too far into the book. So I have a little chart of how I'm going to rate this. So I'm going to go through each section of it and see how I rate it. There's grammar and spelling, which is typical. There's the plot, the characters, the imagery, what it would be rated as a movie, so if you know you'd want to read it or not, depending on how appropriate it is, and how good the climax was, and was it interesting to me. Now to start off, this is the author's first book. This is her debut. I know that she's written. I know, but at this point she's written more. After reading this, I am interested in reading more of her stuff. Now this is supposed to be in the horror genre, but to me it wasn't really scary. But I still absolutely love the story. It started out kind of typical. If you've watched The Grudge, you'll see that she wears a white kimono and she has dark hair hanging in her face. But Okiku is actually where that type of ghost started. At first I thought the author had made up the story, but it wasn't. The story was actually just based off of her. And Okiku, she's where dead children go, as in she avenges dead children. The whole thing of the story is that these children that have been murdered, or these children that have people who would cause their death, they are chained to that person almost, and she breaks that chain by killing the person. It's very violent, but she has good intentions. After she avenges them, there's this beautiful moment where their spirit becomes this just small ball of light, and they surround her and they fill her with warmth for 1 second, and she relishes in that before she sets them free. So she may be horrible and terrible, and then she meets this boy Tarquin, or Tark. Now he is very strange because he has these markings that almost move on his body. They look like tattoos, but they are not normal tattoos. They are, I don't know how to put this, but they were put on him when he was very, very young. Not by a tattoo art or something, by his mother. Now that sounds very disturbing and wrong, but if you read the story, you will understand. And that's very important, and this draws her to him. So, and she finds out that his life is very deep, and there's this other very, very dark, vengeful, evil spirit attached to him. And so that's basically the book, and I really loved it. Japan is very heavily integrated into the story, so if you like learning about Japan, then probably read this story, because it was really fun to read to me, because I really love Japan. Like I said, at first it was kind of predictable and cheesy because of the typical Grudge type appearance of the ghost. But it was so good and had a great plot twist, and it was really good at the end. So for the grammar and spelling, I gave it a 10. I didn't see anything wrong with it. There was even an interesting way of the way she put the story. She even did this weird thing with the paragraphs. Because Okiku, definitely, you obviously know that she's insane, just because of her backstory and the fact that she is a ghost. And there's a problem with the number 9. She loves the number 10, but she hates the number 9. Obviously because of the backstory of the way she died. So she sees the number 9, she kind of goes ballistic. She loves counting things. She'll count everything, and throughout the book she'll see there are so many of this, so many of that, so many of that to introduce a chapter, or when she goes into a new place. So, and she organizes these paragraphs so well and so interestingly, and she'll like start a new paragraph in the middle of a word to show that she is not sane. So it was great grammar and spelling and an interesting way of organizing the book. And it had a great plot. I gave it an 8 out of 10. This is all out of 10, by the way. So the grammar is 10 out of 10. And the plot is 8 out of 10 because, like I said, it was kind of boring and typical at first. But the end was really great and it kept me engaged. The characters were an 8 because there are a few characters and they're definitely not typical characters. But it's not the fact that they weren't deep enough or interesting enough. It's just that I had seen way deeper characters. These characters were really great and I really loved them, but I have seen better. I'm not saying I still love these characters. They're still great characters, but I've seen better. But don't let that put you off. If it were a movie and I was giving a movie rating, probably about PG-13, just because there are some like scary sequences in it. Obviously there were some curse words because it is a horror and you're going to expect that. But and like you said, she murders people, so obviously it's going to be like PG-13. But there's nothing especially gory. It doesn't go into detail, but it just explains what happens. So PG-13. And for the climax, I gave it a 9 out of 10, and because it was a good climax, and I really loved the plot twist. And it was interesting to me. Yeah, it was interesting. I really loved it. I gave it a 9 for interesting because, like I said, I keep repeating myself. It was kind of boring at the beginning. I gave it a 4-star. Let's see. Oh yeah, but that's pretty much it. So yes, I would definitely think you should read it, and yeah, so read it. And I think it's very cheap with Kindle. It's like $3 for Kindle, like $12 for hardback, and I think $9 for paperback. That's just rough. I'm not entirely sure, but I definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to read it. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end this video. I'll see you later, and hopefully you're here for the next video. If you haven't, yeah, I'm just gonna end it. Bye! Okay. Okay, so I'm not ready for this.
I don't want to restart it because I was talking. Wait, I want to take a key.